and I want to chat about a new category on Key Collector Comics, the application. If you use code TOM101, you get a free week subscription of the best comic book collecting app that exists on the market. The new category is Stellar. So the first thing you got to do is you got to be able to find it, and it's right on the home screen. It's called
Sounds and Slogans. It's right there on the homepage. Very easy to see. It's got a big purple BAMF on it.
That's right, BAMF. It's like a sound of like, why would you, BAMF. I think of it's like a, all right? That noise first appeared in X-Men issue number 95, the third appearance of Nightcrawler. And that is the sound that Nightcrawler makes when he's going through like different dimensions when he teleports. This is an example of a sound that takes place. That's like a major character design that I think is fascinating, and it gives a book an added key worthiness. There's a lot of other books that are in this category, and I want to jump right into it.
First one we're talking about today is Amazing Spider-Man number 6. You might already be familiar with this comic. It's the first appearance of the Lizard. However, it is the first appearance of the magical phrase, "My spidey sense is tingling."
Ryan, are you tingling right now talking about this book?
I am all a tingle.
Dude, I am titillated by this comic book.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
But this is great because this is a major key that really the latter key worthiness is completely secondary. A lot of people don't even know that this phrase that Peter thinks for the first time in this issue was said in this major key event that is the Lizard, which is one of the coolest villains that Spider-Man has.
Haven't really been able to do him so well on screen, though.
They've struggled with his character design.
I'm thinking of Amazing Spider-Man from 2012, and like the CGI on that was not the best.
We're actually going to showcase some Alex Ross art that is only featured in this book here pretty soon. And I think if they could base the character design off of the way Alex paints the Lizard, it would be a hell of a lot closer with what comic book fans want to see on the screen.
Personally, I'd rather see a little more human and a little less lizard.
Ooh.
The last movie went very hard on the lizard angle. A little too monstrosity-ness for me.
I actually want to do something a little different when we quote prices for these collectibles. Typically, we quote the highs, you know, what they're spiking to. But because these are not all necessarily keys that are major, and some of them are, the prices are going to be all over the place. So let's talk about like a low-grade, affordable, presentable copy. If you can get one of these comics at the rates that we are going to provide, you're doing pretty damn good as long as the book isn't just like burned or something or coverless.
Yes. Coverless, I would say, is a deal breaker. Burned would be kind of cool.
I know. Well, if you have an Amazing Spider-Man number 6, if you can get that for like under $300, you're doing really well.
Not bad.
All right. The next book on this list that we have to include is Tales to Astonish, issue number 88. Now, as just a cover itself, it's a classic Submariner battle that you're seeing on the Silver Age classic. However, on the inside, you're going to hear Hulk utter the words for the very first time, Hulk smash, in these pages. Kind of fun.
It's weird to think.
It's weird to think that this had to have happened at some point in an issue. Inspiration, the writer decided to include it, and then boom, forever that character is known for this.
Something I'm noticing that we've done in the few so far that we've mentioned is that these don't really pop up right at the beginning. It takes a few issues for like these kind of trends to start popping off.
This book in like a VF, you can score for like $50. Now in high grade, it's going to be a bit different because it's Silver Age and it's harder to come by. But for an 8.0 VF for $50, that's a huge key moment for any Hulk fan. And I'm not even a Hulk collector, and I think that's dope.
Me neither.
All right, this next one on this list, FF issue number 4. This is a major key. Okay, if you can score this book at a 0.5, like a graded 0.5 for this issue, it goes for like $500 right now.
Holy moly.
And it's gone up in the last couple months. So it's on a climb, but it's a major, major key.
It says it's the first Silver Age appearance of the Submariner.
That's right. And there's a lot of spec behind this character. He's a classic Marvel hero. But in this issue, there's another major Fantastic Four moment that takes place. And it's not by Submariner. Some may be surprised to see.
That's the first time Johnny Storm says, "Flame on!"
Correct. Interesting that he activates it with words, but it happens 4 issues into the run.
Right? Like, I don't think he needs to say the magic words to turn into fire, but, he just decided to shout something, I guess.
Yeah, he's got to have this like activation process.
Yeah, it'd be kind of lame if it just was, and now I'm on fire. Like, just
And
silently.
now I'm on fire.
Yeah, like, no, I'm gonna go now.
Yeah, at least have it be like the sound of a lighter or something.
Like a whoosh.
Yeah, whoosh. Another issue that is perfect to mention right here, not on our list, but it fits so perfectly, is Fantastic Four issue number 22.
That'd be the first time the Thing says it's clobbering time. Also, the second appearance of the Mole Man. Less cool in my mind.
Right.
Even though that's the thing it's known for.
Right. And I think that this is a great example of a book that, yeah, it's like over 20 issues had to go by until it was actually incorporated into the run.
Thing smash.
All right.
Doesn't sound as good.
Doesn't sound as good. And moving on to this next issue on the list, we have Avengers issue number 10, Kirby Goodness. And we're talking about not Ramatut, not Kang. No, we're not talking about Immortus. No, we're talking about the first time the words Avengers Assemble was mentioned in a comic book.
However, it was said by Thor the first time. It was not a phrase that was used by Captain America.
You may find that a little off, right? Because like I feel like Captain America, like people associate Cap with that phrase, but Cap was new on the scene at that time.
Right. Yeah, he just popped back up on the team in issue 4.
So like, we're thinking a few issues in, it would make sense. Like Thor would kind of be a little bit more of a leader at this point.
Correct.
You know? Who knew that Thor would create Captain America's catchphrase?
Kind of like it's like early payback for Captain America stealing Thor's hammer in Endgame.
Ooh, early payback. I like that.
It all comes around.
Retroactive. Okay. And we're also talking about a book that affordably you can get for about $50, in low grade. All right. And now another book on this list that I think a lot of people are going to respect for just like multiple reasons. Giant Size XMen issue number 1. It's a plethora of reasons.
What list isn't this book on?
For real. It's just one of the all-time biggest keys, man, of that era. The new team.
First appearance of the Colossus, Nightcrawler.
Yeah,
so many people.
And this is the second full appearance of Wolverine. It's a little bit on the bigger side, harder to get into a high grade. And right now, you would be lucky to find this book in low grade for about $400. And I imagine that this book in low grade is going to be a $500 book for quite some time. But there's another reason why we have to put this book on this list.
It's the first snicked from Wolverine's claws, in case you didn't.
That's right.
In case my performance was not up to par for you.
It's the first time that the sound was associated with the claws breaking through Wolverine's skin.
I never really liked that sound effect. I feel like there's a better way to phrase that, right?
Ooh, how would you phrase it? Comic Fam, I want to know your thoughts about this list and these sounds and key reasons in the comment section below. What do you think would be a better sound for Wolverine?
Oh, man, you put me on the spot.
I'm doing it right now, man. Go. First thing that comes to your head.
It's claw time. That's the sound that the claws make while they're coming out.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you did not create Logan. Can you imagine?
I would have made him very bad.
The greatest Canadian superhero. It's claw time. Oh, that was dreadful. I love it. Okay, next book on this list, we have one of my favorite Spider-Man keys, ASM issue number 4.
Why is that your favorite?
Sandman. It's a weird cover. It's got like 4 different pictures of Spider-Man versus Sandman, and it's like, he's like sand. It's really silly. But Sandman is such an awesome character. There's so many early appearances in this first like 10 issues of Spider-Man, but that one always is like right next to Doc Ock, my favorite.
He's a pretty cool villain.
He is a cool villain.
I kind of feel like he's underutilized these days.
I thought he was the coolest villain in Spider-Man 3.
Out of all 10 of them?
Out of like the 10 they used.
Right, yeah, he was definitely the coolest in that movie.
Well, this book, you would be lucky to find it in low grade for $300. But there's another big reason why this book is on the list besides being a major key moment in Spider-Man history.
Apparently, this is the first time that Peter Parker thinks of himself as the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
It's just like that catchphrase, I wouldn't even think to give that much importance. It's like with great power comes great responsibility, but it is. It's so important that when you find out it was in this issue, it makes you look at this issue a little bit different, I always associated that book as a major moment because of Sandman. And now I'm thinking of it as like just a major marketing moment for this character and how they were going to portray him to his community in the comic and as an entity that Marvel was selling at the time, because he would become the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man to us as well in the real world.
I bet at the time it was just like a throwaway line that he was thinking to himself in like a sarcastic comment in his own brain, but it would evolve over time to actually reflect on his, kind of standing in the community, a neighborhood superhero. This next one is one I had never actually even heard of before. It's a comic book called Daredevils.
I immediately looked and I'm like, Daredevils? It's not Daredevil?
Correct. It's a plural.
That's right. And it's Captain Britain on the cover.
Big white cover, Captain Britain on the front, bunch of words. It's probably going to be hard to find in a high grade because it's the white cover, and those are never really that easy to find in high grade, especially if they're older.
This is a more affordable book too. Not many people are specking on this comic.
$10.
Yeah, in like high grade. Like you can probably find it for $5.
Why is it important though?
Because this is the first time Earth 616 is used as an idea for the Marvel Universe.
Like a specific name for the mainstream Marvel Universe.
Yeah, the first mention of the Marvel Universe as Earth 616.
As opposed to all the alternate Marvel universes that also exist in Marvel Comics.
Next one on this list is one I placed on here because I figured you would enjoy it.
I am so enjoying this one.
Dude, are you titillated again?
Always.
Okay.
I'm here.
Make it happen, Ryan.
In brightest day. In blackest night. Yes. No evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light.
Ooh, we're talking about Alan Scott, Green Lantern from 1943.
That's a long time ago.
Talking about Green Lantern issue number 9. The first time that these words were ever utilized in a comic book by the Green Lantern himself.
Technically, he counts. He's not my favorite Green Lantern, but he counts.
He's not your favorite?
A little silly. A little too silly for me. Even though Green Lantern in general is a very silly concept, I think Alan Scott is a little too far. I'm also, as you know, not the biggest Golden Age fan, so I tend to skew towards the more modern people.
Sure. And Hal Jordan it's very different.
Yes.
It's a very different Green Lantern. But this particular Green Lantern, 1943, OG, love the character design. I understand, man. They're very different Green Lanterns. They're basically entirely different characters, The name Green Lantern is what ties them together, but they don't feel like the connection between Jay Garrick and the Flash, for example. You know, the lineage doesn't feel the same.
Alan Scott Green Lantern was definitely more of like a magical kind of feeling. And then the rest of the Green Lanterns over time, it became more of like a sci-fi outer space story, which speaks a little more to me.
But this book is really, really cool. Aside from having a major Green Lantern key event happen on the inside, the first time that those words were uttered in the pages, we also have a Golden Age comic book that not a lot of people are purchasing, and when they hit the market, they typically undersell. There was an issue that was pretty low grade, had some tape on it, but we're talking about a book from 1943. Issue number 9 went for around $350 a few months ago. Now, if you're looking for a copy right now, it's going to start at about $500 if you can find one, and I'm talking like a 4.0. But as far as like Golden Age comics from the 40s, in a major key event like that, I think that it's a great one for collectors to consider. This next one on the list, though, we have to place here because it's another major Spider-Man sound. There's a lot of different phrases and catchphrases that are in the Spider-Man run, isn't there?
Well, he's kind of like, the center of the Marvel Silver Age, I would say.
Absolutely. And this next one is a great example of a book that doesn't really have key-worthiness beyond this. And we're talking about Amazing Spider-Man issue number 36.
That would be the first time the sound effect was used for the web shooters.
Dude, that was actually really good.
Thank you. I practiced all day.
That's actually way better than your Wolverine line that you gave. So I'm excited that you provided something of value during this list. More than the knowledge you bring.
I bring so much knowledge.
I want more sound effects from you. I want more sounds from Ryan and Comic Fam. If you slap that like button, maybe we can get Ryan to do more sounds for the show.
Give me a soundboard. I'll be that guy. Every podcast needs a dork with a soundboard.
This comic book can be acquired, in like low to mid grade for like $20, right?
That's way better than I was thinking you were gonna say.
And it's a cool book, man. And it's low number ASM. You can't go wrong with that.
$20, son of a bitch.
That's good, right?
I would not have guessed that. I would have guessed like 10 times that much.
It's a big moment, dude.
I just think all comics that low numbered, especially Spider-Man, would be way more expensive than that. But apparently, you can get it for a lot less. So go get it.
the last book we have to put on this list. And this is, again, only 10 of many that are in this category. Go over to Key Collector Comics, use that code TOM101 to get a free week subscription, and check out this list. There's a lot more books, and there's a lot of modern books too. We happen to just pick a lot of the OG ones. But this next one is FF issue number 19. And are we talking about it because of Ramatut? No.
Talked about him already.
We also talked about Immortus.
Right.
We're talking about Kang.
Don't even get me started, man.
What's going on, dude? Everybody's Kang the Conqueror. No, we're tabling all of those things. It has nothing to do with those things. This is the first time that the man,
Stan the Man, said his catchphrase. Enough said.
His sign-off. Issue number 19 of Fantastic Four.
It's a good sign-off.
Freaking awesome, dude.
It's so good that it was borrowed by somebody.
He said it, and you know that he was like, oh, that's going to be good. I'm going to use that again. You know that happened.
I like it more than Excelsior myself, but that's just me.
Yeah, I think Nuff Said is one of my favorites that he did, but I want to know what the community thinks about all of these and what your favorite catchphrase sound was. And check out that category section.
Maybe you'll even find that it is already on the list.